My name is Dan Hosier. I'm an amateur trick shot artist, and these are the level 1 Masse shots. A lot of people have a perception that Masse shots are all with a vertical cue. That's not the case. In fact, all three of these shots are done with more of a stroke, more of a normal pool stroke, albeit with the cue jacked up. As a Masse shot that looks impossible to make the one. We have the cue ball that's blocked in by two balls here, one ball here, and the one is here. The 12 is actually a helper. In other words, you could hit the 12 or hit the 1 and make the 1 go in. Either would be allowed. But the way the shot works is that you shoot into the rail, it goes into the short rail, and then curves back around to make the 1. So let's talk about the setup. The cue ball is frozen to the rail about halfway between the first and second diamond. The rules allow for it to be anywhere between the first and second diamond. And then I'm going to take two blocking balls and freeze those to the cue ball. And then a third blocking ball has to be within a chalk width of both the rail and the cue ball. So it can be up to a chalk width from the rail and the cue ball. The 12 is a helper ball. So the cue ball can either hit the 12, knocking the 1 in, or it can hit the 1 directly. Either one is good. The way you would shoot this shot is to shoot into the rail with high left hand English, causing it to spin off the second rail and come back. As you can see, I've got a very awkward looking stroke right now happening, and that's because I'm a shorter player. If I was taller, I would be able to lean over and have the cue under me. Fortunately, the rules allow for you to raise the floor, and that helps eliminate some of that height gap. So I have a step stool that I'm going to put my left foot on, and now with my knee on the table, I have a nice, easy stroke into the cue ball. And I can go ahead and shoot this shot. High left hand English, very loose back hand, feels like a stroke shot. And okay, here's the setup for shot 1B. The cue ball goes directly frozen to the rail with the back edge even with the point of the pocket. And a blocking ball is frozen to the cue ball. Another blocking ball is directly in the center of the table, and our object ball is deep in the pocket here. This is a rail compression shot. We're going to be shooting into the rail to escape from the 15. Cue ball will come out around the 14 and curve back to make the 1. In order to do that, we want to have a very loose grip on the cue so that when it hits the cue ball, it bounces out of the way. If you jam the cue ball is going to end up going to the right of the 14. So we need to have a very loose grip. Let it bounce off the cue ball. I'm aiming high left and through the left portion of the diamond on my long rail. All right, here's the setup for shot 1C. We'll start with the cue ball on the third diamond line, frozen to the rail, and another blocking ball, also on the third diamond line, frozen to the cue ball. A second blocking ball is going to go right between the first and second diamond, and the object ball is going to be deep in the pocket. What we're going to do is shoot into the rail. Cue ball will kick out around the 14 and then curve back to the 1. Just like 1C, I'm going to use a step stool to raise the floor to make myself a little bit taller and shoot at about 9 o'clock on the cue ball so it escapes off the rail and then curves back to make the 1. The way I demonstrated this shot is actually not the way that I usually shoot this shot. Instead, I use kind of a special cue. This is a cue that comprises of two cues. This is the butt of a jump cue and the shaft of a regular playing cue. It's a very light cue, but because it has a softer tip, it doesn't play so much like a jump cue. When I shoot this shot, I almost swipe into the rail, and so because of that swipe, I'm going to get the cue ball to kick out more. So I'm going to aim more towards the 14 and more center on the cue ball.